It started with an email, a clean, professional message that looked like any other government correspondence. No grammar mistakes, no weird links. The logo at the top was real, the golden crest of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The subject line read, "Urgent, cybersecurity breach involving federal contractors." At first, no one at Valiant Systems, a small tech company based in Virginia, thought it was strange. They worked with government agencies all the time. The email requested system verification through an encrypted federal server. It was signed by Special Agent Daniel Morris. Real name, real badge number, real contact, signature. Everything checked out. So when their IT director, Mark Ellis, logged into the provided link, he had no idea he was walking straight into a trap. Mark was a cautious man from Air Marine. He didn't click suspicious links, didn't download random attachments. But this email had everything official: tone, correct, headers, federal syntax. Even the return address came from FBI-gov.org, which, to anyone glancing quickly, looked identical to at FBI.gov. What he didn't know was that a group calling themselves the Mirror Cell had spent months perfecting the illusion. They were not your average hackers. They didn't go for chaos or ransom. They went for credibility. The Mirror Cell's specialty was social mirroring, replicating digital identities so perfectly that even real agencies couldn't tell the difference. Their leader, known online only as the Curator, once worked as a cybersecurity consultant for the U.S. government. He understood every layer of the FBI's digital infrastructure. Its tone, its language, its timing. When he left that world behind, he didn't just take knowledge, it took access. 2 weeks after the initial verification, something strange started happening. Federal agents began contacting Valiant Systems, demanding answers about unauthorized data movement between their servers and a government node. Mark showed them the email. The agents fell silent. The document, the encryption, the header signatures. Everything looked legitimate. So legitimate, in fact, that the real FBI believed it had come from within their own system. A full task force was assembled. But as they started tracing the breach, something unbelievable happened. The FBI's own network began showing identical activity, internal data transfers, logins from authorized accounts, encrypted handshakes between supposedly safe machines. Someone had cloned the FBI itself. The Mirror Cell hadn't hacked the Bureau. They had replicated it. They built a perfect digital twin servers, emails, encryption keys, timestamps, all mirrored and rerouted through private nodes in Estonia, Singapore, and Brazil. Every FBI message anyone received was both real and fake. Every verification key checked out because it matched the FBI's legitimate cryptographic structure. For 2 full months, the FBI investigated its own phantom. Inside the Bureau, panic started spreading. Publicly, they stayed silent. But internally, they launched what would later be known as Operation Reflection. The goal was simple: find the Mirror Cell, destroy its infrastructure, and contain the embarrassment. But the deeper they dug, the stranger it got. Every lead led to another FBI contact. Every subpoena request came from a name that already existed inside their system. It was like chasing a ghost that lived inside their own reflection. Then came the first ransom note. A message appeared inside the Bureau's classified network. "You've been studying yourselves for decades. We just helped you see what you really look like." Attached was a single Bitcoin address and a demand $25 million to prevent a data release linking active undercover agents to real-world operations. At first, they thought it was a bluff, until 2 agents in Eastern Europe went dark within 24 hours. The FBI's cyber division went to war. They coordinated with Interpol, the NSA, and even private cybersecurity firms. Dozens of analysts combed through terabytes of digital noise, tracing encrypted packets that vanished like mist. Then, a break came from an unexpected place. Valiant Systems. Mark Ellis noticed something odd. A timestamp error. One of the FBI servers responded 0.7 milliseconds faster than the Bureau's known network speed. To most people, that was nothing. But to Mark, it meant the mirror wasn't perfect. He shared the finding with Agent Sarah Liu, the real lead investigator on Operation Reflection. Together, they triangulated the anomalies across global server farms. It led them to one location, a data center in Tallinn, Estonia. When a joint cyber task force raided it, they found racks of servers running mirrored code, all linked to a single terminal labeled CURA01. The curator had been here, but he was already gone. All they found was a printed note on the keyboard. If you can read this, you learn nothing from me. Reflection is the truest form of deception. The FBI never recovered the stolen data. They never paid the ransom, at least. Not officially. But 2 months later, hundreds of dark web accounts began leaking fragments of agent names, operations, and financial records. It wasn't enough to expose missions, but enough to make the Bureau bleed. Mark resigned from Valiant Systems. He couldn't live with the guilt. Sarah Liu was reassigned to an internal security team, and the Mirror Cell vanished, leaving behind a digital myth that haunted every agency for years. To this day, the FBI never confirmed how deep the breach went. Some say the Bureau rebuilt its entire digital infrastructure from scratch. Others whisper that the Mirror Cell still exists, not as hackers, but as consultants, quietly helping the same agencies they once humiliated. But there's one undeniable truth. The more perfect the system looks, the easier it is to trust. And trust is the first vulnerability every scam needs. So the next time you get an email that feels too real, remember, even the FBI once believed in a fake version of itself. This is True Scam Stories, where every deception hides a reflection of truth.